So welcome again, everybody, to this amazing presentation about our home-based business chat. I'm super excited about what we are going to share with you guys today. Todd and I have been friends for a little bit now, for a couple years when we met in Mexico, and I've had an amazing time getting to know Sheila and Lydia. Super impressed with all of their stories, and we're going to share a little bit data with you guys as well. So with that, I am going to share my screen so that, well, actually, I need to adjust the presentation right quick before I share my screen, and we will get started. Alrighty. So again, this presentation is why now is the best time to get started with a home-based with a business, and why a home-based business might be the great place to start. So Sheila's going to start us off with her story.
We're all set? Everybody can hear me. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming on. I'm Sheila Sherman, and I am from Detroit, but I have been living in Calgary, Alberta, Canada for the last almost 20 years. And this is where I discovered Young Living 12 years ago and started my journey with Young Living. And so I love this title, Why Now is the Best Time to Start a Business, because we got a lot of stuff going on right now, and people are looking for some solutions. People are definitely looking for solutions for their health because of everything that's going on right now. People want to remain healthy and not have this situation overcome them, either physically, but also emotionally as well. People are looking for things. People are looking for to connect, because we're not connecting like we used to. And so people are looking to connect. And also people are looking for some answers for their finances. And so I want to share my story a little bit with you, because Young Living has foot the bill in all three of those areas for me. My physical health, emotional health, my financial health, as well as for my family, my kids. I have 6 kids that I've raised 6 kids. My youngest is now 15. My oldest is 29. And these kids, quote unquote kids, men now, I have 5 boys and 1 daughter, and how they were raised on Young Living. They were raised on Young Living. Like I said, I've been in the business for 12 years. So my story starts 12 years ago. I won't take you through everything because it's a lot to try to recap 12 years. But what I will tell you is, when I found Young Living, I like to say Young Living found me, because I wasn't really looking for anything. And my sister gave me a call. She told me about these oils. They had been helping her with her daughter, who had some chronic fatigue symptoms. And so she found relief in the oil. She shared it with me. I was already kind of crunchy. I was already the type of person that did not want chemicals in my home, had eliminated some of these things, most of them out of my home, and was living the healthiest lifestyle that I knew how to live prior to the oils. When I got the oils, I experienced immediately, within 3 weeks, I experienced relief from 2 things. The first thing I really experienced relief from was a condition I had with my neck, which I don't have a name for. I never found out what was the problem, but I had to crack my neck all the time, like all day, every day for like 20 years of my life. I'm cracking my neck. And to the point where it was annoying to anybody who knew me, because they knew that any moment now I'd crack my neck again, and it was really loud. And that stopped within 3 weeks of using the oils and applying oils on the back of my neck. I did not have to crack my neck anymore. That was 12 years ago. And here I am 12 years later, and I still do not have to crack my neck. So I like to say, once the oils fix you, you're fixed. So I was fixed. And then the other thing is, I had baby number 6 at that time. I was over 40 years old when I gave birth to him. and I was a mess when the oils found me. I was crying all the time. I was depressed. I had like 6 kids. I was homeschooling. I never had a break from kids at that time. And I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on with me? And it was not a fun time. My energy was lagging. And then again, within a couple of weeks, my energy came back. My emotions came back. I was happy to be a mom again. And at that point, I said, what are these oils? And what is this company? And so I started to research the company. I started to research the oils and apply them to our families. And the result today is that I have healthy kids that have not been basically have not been on antibiotics, over-the-counter meds. Myself also healthy. If you do the math, I have a 15-year-old. I had him after 41. So if you do the math, I'm I'm healthier than most young people that I know. And I attribute this in a great part to the oils, along with nutrition and different things that we know how to do. It's the oils that help bring me to this point today. Business-wise, I have actually, if you go to the next slide, why now is the best time to start a business. After that slide with the businesses, back in 2008 or so, there was a recession. We felt it here in Canada. And interestingly enough, my husband had his own business. It was a brick and mortar business. He did not hop online. And eventually he just became a dinosaur, and he actually had to close up his business. But during that time, we were affected in Canada. You guys were affected there in the US. And there were a lot of people going belly up. But there are people that took to the internet and took to the demands of the time, and they were able to turn things around. And you'll recognize a lot of these. You'll recognize Uber, Square, Instagram is who I recognize, Groupon. I used to do Groupon like crazy. Pinterest, all of these companies. When things go bad, then that's an opportunity to find what the marketplace is needing and then to jump in. So now is the perfect time to start a home-based business, partly because a home-based business, you do not need tons and tons and tons of startup, which many people don't have right now, especially with what's going on. And so that brings us to a home-based business like network marketing, where network marketing is is going to be a great choice for another source of income. You heard we need to diversify right now. And so I'm going to talk to you about why network marketing. Why is this good? Why was this good for me? I'll tell you why network marketing was great for me. Network marketing was great for me because I was a stay-at-home mom, and I wanted to continue to be a stay-at-home mom. I had 6 kids, homeschooling, and we needed to bring in income. Another reason why network marketing was great for me and my family is at the time that my husband had to close down his business, which was our primary income source, I was able to have this nest egg. I was able to have this, my business that had started to grow and had gotten to the point where it could sustain us in a time of financial need because he had to close his business. You can build a network marketing business part-time and anytime. So I started out part-time. And when we say anytime, it is like wherever you're at. You can choose your own hours. So it's time freedom. You can build it from anywhere. And what that looked like in my life is I could travel and still work. In fact, vacations were my choice, but it was my choice to work. It was the best time I had to work because the kids were busy vacationing and I had a great time to work. So you can build it from anywhere. Again, I mentioned the cost. You can launch it for as little as $500 to $1,000. And you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And that's important because, as I talked about, the need to connect, people are wanting to connect right now. I think people are getting a little weary of by themselves right now. Okay, would you agree that there are people that they're ready to connect? They want to connect with like-minded. They want to connect with people that understand them and that have the same like interest and are like-minded. So you are business for yourself. It's your business, but not by yourself. Very important, and that was very important to me. Business partners have vested interests. So the people that you partner up with, we all have an interest to see each other succeed. It's not like a cutthroat thing, right? Where it's like, oh, I want to succeed and I got to get this position. And I'm talking about, like, sometimes there's some cutthroat atmospheres in different businesses, but in a network marketing, your business partners, they have a vested interest to see you succeed, because we are amazing, and it helps with that alone makes getting a network marketing business worthwhile. We won't go into all the tax things, but you could look that up, and there are tax deductions and tax benefits, your cell phone, etc., your gas, that will help bring your tax expense down. Learn while you earn. Definitely, you don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have already learned a 4-year degree and then be able to go into network marketing. If you have a 4-year degree, that's awesome. It's not necessary. You're going to learn on the spot. You're going to learn while you are earning. And then you can earn anywhere from 50, 1,000, 5,000 or more a month. With the work that we put in, the efforts that we put in, then what I love about it is your income is tied to your effort. And so you directly have an impact on your income, as opposed to maybe being in a company where you could be putting in your best effort, but unless they give you that raise, your income may not be connected to your abilities and your effort. And then lastly, with time and success, your income will be produced by hundreds, perhaps thousands. So we are in this to help people, but also to be able to increase our wealth and our income. And you've probably heard the saying, your wealth is your health. And so actually it's the other way around. Your health is your wealth, but your wealth is your health, right? We've heard it the other way around, but your wealth is your health as well. So now, network marketing myths. And I know you've probably heard some of these. I'm just going to go over 4 really quick network marketing myths. One is getting in on the ground floor is the best path to success in a network marketing company. And people seem to think that if you don't get in on the ground floor level, meaning when a company first starts, that you can't be successful in network marketing, that only the ground floor people get in are successful. This is entirely not true and a huge myth, because as I said earlier, your efforts determine how successful you are. So your own abilities determine how successful you are, not whether or not you're on a ground floor level. And one potential disadvantage of coming in at a ground floor level would be that that company does not have the track record yet. So without the track record, you're not really sure if your efforts are going to pay off, because if that company does not last, then your efforts basically, and I've seen a person in her network marketing company, a different one, and it went under, and she had put years into it. And when it went under, she just had to start all over from scratch. There was nothing that she had from that company. What's cool about Young Living is 25 years, 25-year-old company, has the track record and has members all over the world. So we have the track record and we have the business. The company has the business savvy to carry this company all over the world. So ground floor isn't always best. Network marketing is an opportunity for someone who is not doing well financially to make a lot of money. So we're going to say yes and no. The yes part of that is obviously we're in business, any kind of business, we're in business to do financially well. And network marketing is an opportunity for someone who is not doing well to do well financially, but it is not an opportunity to do well financially if you don't put the work and the effort in. If we treat our business like a business, then we can expect the payoff of the business. But what this myth is saying is that, oh, we just get in a network marketing company, we don't really have to do anything, and we're just going to see a whole bunch of money. That is the myth part of that. That's not how it works. And then myth 3, network marketing is, network marketers succeed by being in the right place at the right time. We succeed by learning, by growing, and by doing. We succeed by doing the work. It is a business, and it does take effort and time, like any other business. It's not a lottery. It is a business, but it's a really good business. There is a better way. This is a better way for many, many people. And then myth 4, the big guys make all the money off the little guy. And that's the one that I have heard the most, is like, oh, only the people at the top make all the money, and they're making it off of everyone, and that type of a thing. The myth part about that is the people at the top, the little guys become the big guys. And we're all in this network marketing organization together. So the big guys actually help the little guys to become big guys. So that is one thing that I really love about network marketing, is your potential is your payoff. What you do is your payoff. It's not determined by anyone else. And it's not all the big guys making all the money. I personally know many, many people who were the little guys, and then they rose up to become the big guys, so to speak, right? The people that have put their efforts in to make their business a very profitable business. And so basically, the one thing I want to say about all these myths is that it is really up to you individually how you do in your network marketing business. Yes, the company has a whole lot to do with it. If it's a good company, if it is a company that has that track record, if it's a company that has great products, all those things, that's their part. But then we also carry our 50 bricks. We also have our part. And our part is to go in and do our business. It's a home-based business, working from home, but still a business. And then we go on and we do the work that's necessary, and then we will experience success. And
all right, thank you so much. So with that, we are going to turn it over to Lydia. She's going to start with her story and then share a few more stats with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I just want to make sure, Sheila, you are all finished, right?
yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm excited. I love telling my Young Living story. To me, it's kind of a dream, and I almost can't believe that I lived it, anyway. But I started my Young Living journey as a Young Living insider. And what I mean by that is that I am married to the current Global Chief Sales Officer of Young Living. And so what that means is Young Living is a thriving, huge global company. Lots and lots of markets are open all over the world. There are rallies, conventions, conferences, and my favorite, incentive trips. And since that is a huge amount of travel, Young Living is so awesome, and they allow like a spouse travel kind of benefit. And so I'm going to tell you what, I took full freaking advantage, and I went as many places as I could, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. But some of the places that I went I went to Belize, Honduras. I went to Australia, the Gold Coast in Sydney. I went to London. I went to Prague. I went to Taiwan. I went to France, all over France, Nice, Marseille, Paris, Provence. I went to Spain. So I went all over the freaking place. And I don't tell you guys this just so that I can be like, look at me and how well traveled I am. That's definitely not the point. In fact, to add a little bit of context for you guys, I was a single mom for 10 years and I did not travel. I didn't travel anywhere simply because I really couldn't afford it. And so all of a sudden there's this company that's basically showing me the whole world. And it was absolutely amazing. And there's a couple of things, there's three main points that, you know, that I took from this experience. Okay. So the first thing was, it's that see the world piece. It's realizing that, holy crap, this kind of industry really does allow you to see the world with all the incentive trips, with all the rallies, with all the conferences. You know, if this business kind of takes off for you, you have a very, it's not, you don't have to be in any one city in order to work it. You can work it from anywhere. It's real freedom, real freedom. What I got to see was that's real. So when people are like real time freedom, I got a chance to see firsthand that that's actually real. And that to me is a gift that Young Living has given me, that because perspective is everything. And we all need models. And if the model for your life is that you just work and work and work, and then you know, maybe have a little retirement and then you die, then that's the path that most people take. But the reality is there's another path. And I learned that was real through this experience. The second thing that I learned about seed to seal. So with all of these incentive trips, Young Living really tries to surround them around the Young Living farms, which, by the way, they're the only companies that owns their own farms. So what I got to see in terms of seed to seal was the way that Young Living really pampers these plants so that they produce the most potent quality essential oils. That's a lot of P's. That's a hard sentence. I'll probably never try to do that one again. But seed to seal is so real. And so when you're walking down hand-weeded, pesticide-free rows of lavender, guys, it changes the game. I have been a crunchy, natural, holistic girl my whole life. I'm blessed with a mom who is basically an herbalist. She's always had natural remedies for me. And this was the first time that I really kind of started to equate, okay, if I don't like eating vegetables that are sprayed with pesticide, then what's happening to plants that are going to be distilled to their most concentrated form? And you're going to put that on your skin. What you're going to get, if there are pesticides, if there are fillers, if there are synthetics, is a concentrated synthetic. It's even more dangerous than eating a vegetable that's been sprayed with pesticide. So the ability to be able to see firsthand, seed to seal, and really witness how this company, it's almost a sacred approach to these plants. And I really feel honored and again, gifted with that experience to be able to see these farms up close and personal. And the third thing that I took from this experience, and I'm trying to figure out a way that is socially acceptable for me to say this, okay? But I'm just gonna be real with you guys. I met some of the richest women that I've ever met in my life. I say women, families, all of it. There's no way to get around it, okay? Some of these people were earning more money in 1 month than I had ever earned in an entire year. In 1 month. And this was not something that was happening every once in a while. I can literally say that I have a Rolodex full of hundreds of women that I know who make a lot of money. And that is something that I think that I needed, again, I just needed to know that that was real. I needed to know that that was a real possibility. In fact, it was almost, you know, my husband Ben was there for a little over 3 years. It was almost at 1.5 years that I started to actually believe that I didn't ask for numbers or anything like that until about then. And I remember there was this trip in Hawaii and we got upgraded because Jared couldn't go. Todd knows who I'm talking about. President of the company couldn't go, so we got upgraded to his bungalow right off the water. And Ben wanted to meet with some of the diamonds. And so he said, let's throw together a little party for the diamonds at the bungalow. It'll be cool because what's not cool about that, first of all, okay? So that's what I did. And I remember asking him, okay, these are all the diamonds. So what diamonds even make? And my jaw hit the floor. I promise you that I had no idea that these people, these families were raking in that kind of cash, that you're looking at, I can't say specific numbers. That's important for, legal reasons. But like I was saying to you, a lot of them, 6 figures in a month, right around there, multiple 6 figures in a lot of cases. Even if we're talking about 5 figures, that's a really, really great income. That's a good living. I know I could certainly make that work. Just kidding. Anyway, so that was the third thing. So we're moving on to my next point. You guys, what I had to take this opportunity for myself. I remember there was a specific opportunity that I was sitting in Sevilla, Spain. It was actually about a year and a month ago, last year. And this was the diamond trip. And this is a trip that everybody wants to earn. It's a phenomenal experience. I mean, imagine hot air ballooning across the Spanish countryside, all on the company's dime. Everyone that is a guest there and is invited to go, it's expenses paid, and it's a beautiful experience. But I remember looking throughout the the whole like sea of people that were there, and there's probably around 300 to 500 people there. I wasn't sure the exact number. My biggest motivation in this, guys, was that I really noted, sadly, that there was not a lot of diversity. And what I mean by that is specifically, and there's just not a lot of people that me. And I love the Young Living Diamonds. Don't even get me wrong. Those are my people. I love them so, so much. But my heart really yearns to have some more diversity in Young Living. And I think it's something that really, it's just a matter of exposure, really. And so for me, that's the biggest reason why I jumped on board. I think there's an enormous, enormous opportunity. This just has not hit a very diverse market yet, even though this is an international, it's a huge, huge business. Africa was just barely opened. Here in the States, though, there really haven't, we haven't gone deep, and that is yet to come. That's the dream I'm running after. That's what I'm chasing. I'm so excited about it. The next thing I wanted to talk about was why, this is the slide, why Young Living, why health and wellness? Okay, as we know, because of our current climate, right? It turns out that our health is pretty valuable. And I bet you that there's a number of people who would have given any amount of money to be able to prevent, quite frankly, deaths that have happened because of poor health. It's an enormous, enormous industry. It's only getting bigger. Our lives aren't dependent on the money we have. It's dependent on the health that we have. You can ask any rich person on their deathbed, if they'd rather have a little bit more money or if they want their health back, right? So it's an enormous, enormous industry. I'll let you guys read those numbers there. There's certain industries like Zoom and Amazon that have just taken off during this time. Young Living is actually another one of those companies that has taken off during this time. Certain products have gone up by up to 1,000%. And that is simply because wellness matters. It's never going to stop mattering. Who wants to feel good? I know that I do. I know that above anything else, I want to feel good and live a healthy life. I already kind of went over why Young Living. So I think I'll take just a little bit of a pivot and talk about why network marketing from a different angle. Guys, what I do is I really do social influencing now, and I have for a long time. I've been an internet marketer for a really, really long time. I'm telling you, what I'm seeing is that the internet is changing direct selling. We're in that moment in time right now. If you want to talk about capturing lightning in a bottle, this is the moment. Social media gives us access to everyone. In fact, how about a raise of hands? How many of you guys go use 1 or 2 forms of social media every single day? I don't know, I'm not, some people might say that they don't. I certainly do. It's about that reach. So being able to really harness the power of social media in order to improve your reach is enormous with an opportunity like Young Living. So if you can think, you might not categorize yourself like an influencer like I do for myself, okay? But I'm going to tell you, everybody is an influencer. Everybody with any kind of social media, you're an influencer. Even if you have 100 followers, you're an influencer, okay? What that means from an influencer standpoint, there are companies that come to me and they might say, hey, Lydia, I've noticed that you're wearing the shoes that we make. How about we pay you a % commission in order to promote that more readily? Usually, or sometimes I go to companies. If I'm loving a product, I will check up on them. Sometimes I'll do, I'll look into it a little bit and say, do you have an affiliate program? Meaning, can you pay me a percentage to rep your product? Okay. The reason why network marketing is so effective and the reason why you can multiply your income by so much, it has to do with the multiplication factor of that affiliate representation. So what that means, I hesitated to use this term, but I'm going to use it. It's like the coronavirus of business. Okay. It's like, do you guys get that? So it's like the coronavirus. So I might spread it to one person. Okay. And then, so with a brand deal, they pay me one time for one sale. Okay. But what if the person that I sold to loves the product and they start talking about it and they can't shut up about it and they sell 10 of them? Well, if it's just an affiliate program, you don't get paid. You get paid one time for that one sale. When it's the coronavirus, that's good, huh? I think that works. When it's the coronavirus of business models, that means that you can infect one person who infects 100 people, who infects 100 people, and you're paid on all levels. Okay, and it can be a very complex, we can go into, what's it called? I can't think of the word, the compensation plan. And it can get really, really complex, but I want you guys to understand that it's not just about who you can influence to purchase or who you can influence to use this product. When I realized that I was a ride or die oiler now, that there was not going to be a day in my life that I didn't have lavender. That peppermint, it's in my back pocket. It's happening all the time. I'm going to just automatically just send that over to me. When I realized that that's where I stood with my oils, I realized that I have to talk about them and I might as well get compensated for that. Right. So that is a really, really big part of why I think that network marketing and Young Living, it's like a match made in heaven in this moment in time right now. I believe, Todd, you're up next. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. You are still muted, Todd. We cannot hear you yet.
All right.
There we go.
Let's try this again. So thank you to Sheila for inviting me to join the call and share my story. And wow. Very powerful, Lydia. And Sheila, hearing some of the perspective, it, for me, paints a picture, which is that everyone kind of makes their way through Young Living in different ways, but some of the core values and some of why they do that is the same. Unbelievable. But I will say, Lydia, if I wear some shoes, nobody's going to call me and ask me about my shoes. So it must be you or the shoes you're wearing. So let's be very clear about that. So I will go fast because we have not much time, and I just want to at least share with you my story, my journey from where I was before, which was kind of a leader, a corporate leader, executive, to now a member executive. And it's interesting because that is a radical decision. And everyone asks the question, why? Like, why would you do that? And so in order to share that story a little bit, I would like to just share with you a little bit of the journey And I think it's worthwhile to hear the journey, because the journey to Young Living is frankly the reason why I left Young Living, the corporate team, to join the actual field as a member. So, I actually started off, I've been, and here's why it's radical. I've been actually doing corporate, the corporate America thing for 3+ decades. So I started off working with, Procter & Gamble from an engineering degree in manufacturing management with P&G in different places around the country. And then after my MBA, going back to school for business, I ended up joining Johnson & Johnson with a focus more in marketing and sales. So obviously big, Fortune 50 companies. I've also worked for GE as well as an internship, but I made my way to Amway, which was my first exposure to direct sales. Amway is a phenomenal company. It's the largest network marketing company in the world, and continues to grow. However, it's significantly different than Young Living. So I ended up, my journey to Young Living was by the way of my lovely better half, my wife, who is the one of the executives for Young Living, and she's the chief of global supply chain. Right, so she's responsible for all of the sourcing, manufacturing, distribution for the company. And so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, right? And I wasn't sure if Young Living was the right place for me. But what I want to do is share how I got here, because once I landed and made the decision, I felt like this stop is my best stop and will be my last stop from a corporate standpoint. At the time, I had no idea that would be in the field, but let me go through that little journey with you. So next slide, Sheila. So I put this picture up here because this was my aha moment. And I think somebody's on the call, I think it's Sherry from Ecuador. And so hopefully you recognize this picture. It's the farm in Ecuador, right? And I will tell you that, I've heard about Young Living and I still wasn't really comfortable with what it provides and why it was unique and special. I heard things like see the seal, wellness, purpose, and abundance, but really didn't understand the magnitude of the commitment to these terms. So I was actually, in between jobs. I left Amway, and my wife Lauren was actually working at Young Living. And as someone mentioned, I think it was Lydia. Every event where you have people coming together, they specifically plan that around a farm, right? If it's not on a farm, it's near a farm, so that people can really get their hands dirty and see the process, the pure, natural process that actually drives these amazing quality products. So no different than that. This was the Platinum Retreat, where the Platinum leaders go to Ecuador. So, of course, I'm in between the jobs, so I'm going to plan a little fun around this. So we were sharing our 25th, we were celebrating our 25th year wedding anniversary. And so I planned a 10-day kind of tour to Chile, knowing that she had to go to Ecuador afterwards. And then my plan was going to be to just kind of relax, hang out by the pool, maybe get an adult beverage or two, right? Maybe find a beach. And I did absolutely not the opposite, all right? The opposite. And the reason being is because immediately once I ascended upon this place, I began to meet people like Sheila, right? Who are just unique, special people, who are very authentic and passionate about the products and what the company stands for. And these people were making good money, right? But they're down to earth, and their why was so strong, and their why was about helping other people. So I was a little bit intrigued. And so I went to this farm, and this farm it's magnificent. And it kind of takes your breath away. And from this, going to the farm in Ecuador, I was able to really better understand the vision and the commitment that the owner, our late owner, Gary Young, had to really provide the best quality products and provide opportunities for people. Because the next day I was able to go to the D. Gary Young Foundation, which is a school that was built to really provide for underprivileged kids in that town of Ecuador, and spend time on service activities with the members, and see these members reach in their heart and give, sponsor the kids, and support the school. And so that trip for me was eye-opening, and it was a trip that I walked away and said, this is a special company. I worked with many other great companies before, but the why for this company was so compelling and strong that it felt very different. And so if you go to the next slide, fast forward, it was very clear for me that I really wanted to join Young Living. I had a kind of opportunity when we first came on a recruiting trip, but I was holding back. And so for me, I was like, okay, let's do this. And I took on the role of the global, it was Vice President of Global Sales and Member Experience. And what that was really kind of managing programs kind of throughout the entire member experience, whether it's the promotion process, the loyalty programs, whether it's the recognition programs, sales and training, and then also member services. So those were some of the responsibilities. But what that afforded me is it afforded me to travel around the world and connect with this tribe, connect with this global community that really was very unique. And so here's some of my takeaways. And I will go through this fast because honestly, Lydia, you hit on a lot of the takeaways that for me was very strong and compelling and it poured in my heart. And the first takeaway was that this is a community. And as a whole, it's a community, but then within the community, there's very clear tribes of people working together for a great cause. And a lot of that cause was around health and wellness. It was around creating a better lifestyle and creating an increased and enhanced well-being, right? The other piece for me was, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, I've never seen people so excited about helping others out. So as you think about what Sheila says, right? In business for yourself, but not by yourself, there's no better example in terms of the leadership that is there and in terms of the corporate team who's also there to support. But, I love this saying, right? There's no better exercise for the heart than lifting people up. And I saw that loud and clear no matter where I was around the world. The other thing, and my goodness, so all those places that Lydia talked about, we were there. In fact, we were actually in Canada, in Banff, Canada, sitting beside each other. As a matter of fact, I used to work for her husband, who was the chief of global sales. We were sitting beside each other when John Mayer came out and surprised us and did a private concert with about 250 people, right? And these are the experiences that I saw people win and be rewarded and be recognized for their achievement and also their focus on carrying out the mission of Young Living. It's a global business. And so whether we start here, there's opportunity around the world. I've been a part of Young Living for 6 months. I have people now in the business from Malaysia, from Vietnam, that are working in Vietnam, they're working and living in South Africa, and Canada. And it's a global business, right? The other piece that I saw, which is really compelling, and it's, again, to me, is one of the things that kind of poured me in, is that people who come into the business, and I think there's some class with direct sales, period, or multi-level marketing, but it's very strong with Young Living. And that is that people come in for a certain reason, but as they're in, they walk away with something different. So whether it's a person who's not comfortable with people, whether it's a person who now has a strained relationship and now is able to better that relationship, whether it's a person who is not comfortable speaking around people, getting up on stage and presenting in front of thousands, actually 25, 30,000 people. And so the development that happens is really strong. And so that's a beautiful thing, especially if you like to help others and you like to personally grow. And then lastly, again, Lydia, you touched on this, financial freedom. This is the amount of testimonials that I heard as it relates to improving overall health, lifestyle, but financial impact was absolutely amazing. And I can't even, we don't, as a company, as a corporate team, we don't even come close to doing a good job of compiling those and putting them in a way that people understand the impact and the benefit of direct sales, but specifically Young Living. And so, I've seen people who, not only have transformed their own lifestyle from a financial standpoint, they've lifted up the entire town. Some leaders and work on diamonds in Mexico, the entire town is at a different economic status. I've seen people who actually had very challenging situations living in projects and now are writing books and top 10 in the New York Times bestseller books and at a level of diamond and plus and making $1 million. And so those are the kinds of things that I saw and observed as I actually had a chance to work in that capacity. So the decision to leave, next slide, was very difficult as it relates to, this is what I've been doing all my life. I've been actually the corporate person. Right? I have lots of friends that are entrepreneurs, and they would joke with me the fact that I am so far away from that. So that was difficult from that stand, but it was easy when I listened to my heart. And so one of the things I felt as a member, and as a distributor, I can better leverage my passions, right? And so when I think about the idea of helping people and developing, lifting them up, since I started off with P&G way back a long time ago, that's something that I was very passionate about. And from a corporate person's perspective, that's what I focused on. Frankly, in corporate America, that's not very valued, right? That isn't very rewarding. And so when you think about the opportunity with Young Living, by doing what you're passionate about, you actually help others and also get paid for that, right? And so there's a direct correlation there. So I felt like that's a better opportunity for me to truly leverage my passions. As a member, I feel like I can more directly help carry out Gary's and Mary's Young Living mission. And the idea here is getting oils in every home around the world, not for the sake of profit, but for the sake of profit. For purpose, right? So for the sake of purpose, so for helping people live a healthier and happier lifestyle. That was the focus. But if you notice, I put every home in bold because we as a company are missing that significantly. I mean, significantly. And so just like Lydia talked about, I would go in New York, I would go to Houston, I would go to LA, where there's 40% of the population that are of a diverse community. And I will present the people, 2,000 people, and see one person that's African American, one person is the Latin American, one person is the Asian American. And you think about that. That is a missed opportunity from the business standpoint. I mean, the business opportunity is huge, but then also from the overall core mission of the company, which is providing and getting Young Living products in every home. And so that's a miss. And why is that? We know why that is. It's the model itself. It's not like a Coca-Cola or a Nike where there's very intentional strategic marketing activities. This company's growing from 200 million to 2 billion, in 6 years. There's not a whole bunch of focus on that. And they look at the direct sales model, people talking to other people to help drive the communication and the lifestyle. Well, guess what? If that's the case, you're talking to people you're comfortable with, and we may just miss a whole segment, and that's real. In fact, I was in South Africa, and I'm presenting. Now, this is crazy, right? And I had to stop. I was presenting in Cape Town, and I had about 100 plus people there. And I looked around, and I stopped and said, "Hey, guys, I have a hard time believing that I'm in the continent of Africa, right? Because there weren't many Black people there." And that's because, obviously, it's word of mouth. And so that's something that pulled in my heart as well. And I know that I can be more intentional and more effective and strategic of making a change there for the better. And then lastly, continue to build personal health and wealth. That's something that, I think both Sheila and Lydia talked about, but let me be very clear. Right? So many people on the call may be young, right? And so the reality is the additional income stream can support a healthier and more effective retirement. Me, on the other hand, I'm more toward the end of that spectrum. And my wife and I are looking at retirement. And we go, what do we want when we retire, right? What do we want? We want to retire to something, not from something, where there's a calling and a pull in our hearts to do something. We want to be around people we want to be around and be a part of a community. We want to travel the world. And you heard those examples where, there is just absolutely an opportunity to kind of build around the world and travel the world in terms of some of the benefits that come with the company. And then lastly, let me close the door for a second. So lastly, I think, what do we want? We want to be able to impact others, and we want to be able to have additional income coming in. But guess what? When we leave this earth, we can will it to our kids. And so, unfortunately, we will probably will it to my Lauren's son. My daughter will be fine, but my son needs the help. And so that's real. I would like to end with end with this. I want to share a story because the story, if you go back to that slide, Tashina, about a year ago, there was a conference here in Salt Lake City, and it's the Qualtrics conference. It's a business analytics group. They're bringing all kinds of people. They had Oprah Winfrey, they had Barack Obama, they had Richard Branson, the head of the NBA, really good speakers. But you know who stole the show? Oprah Winfrey. And she talked for an hour and a half straight and shared stories that just had your eyes wide open and your heart melting and your mouth, right, struck open and scraping the ground. She shared a story where she actually launched she launched a school in South Africa. And it was the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls, right? And she unfortunately was not able to take with her mentor, her late mentor, Maya Angelou. So as soon as she got back, she ran over to Maya Angelou's house and she said, Maya, I wish you were there. You should have seen it. That will be my legacy, Maya. It was spectacular. I am sure that when I leave this earth, that will be my legacy. Maya Angelou was kneading bread, right? She's making biscuits, okay? And she said, girl, I hear you, but that may not be a legacy. You don't know what your legacy is. She said, no, Maya, that will be my legacy. And she did that twice more. And Maya Angelou slammed the bread down and said, Oprah, that isn't your legacy. It will not be your legacy. Your legacy will be every life you touch. That will be your legacy. And I frankly walked away from that, and my eyes and my passion, my heart started opening up a little bit more. And frankly, when I look at the opportunity I have with Young Living as a member, right, it is significantly more directly correlated to me being able to do this and my calling. And so I'll just leave you with that story because frankly, that is you take that up a higher level and you think about our late owner, Gary Young, you think about the hearts of the people that I've had a chance to connect with around the world, and they're striving for that legacy as well. So thank you so much for your time. It's a great role.
Thank you so much, Todd. I know you have to run to another meeting, so we appreciate you dedicating this time to us. So yeah, everyone, I hope everyone learned something. We are going to move over to questions, but just think about this information, guys. Think about that first slide that we put up there. A lot of people lost during the last recession. A lot of people lost homes and careers and jobs, but a lot of people won, and they won big. And those were the people that found needs and took action. So now is the time to take action. If you just got your kit and never did anything else, now's the time to understand the power of what you have. We have no fear of what's circling this planet because we have all the tools. If you don't know that yet, you got to get with your person and find that out. And if you've just been using your products and you haven't been sharing, now is the time to act so that you can win during this time. So with that, I will open it up for questions. I know there were some that were presented in the chat, so I don't know if any of the co-hosts want to verbally tell us those questions or if any of the individuals that shared them want to share that.
Am I on mute still? Am I on mute? No? So I want to share something just really quickly. And it's two quotes because you said something very compelling, Tashina, and it was something I shared with the team yesterday when we met, right? And it was from, I think, Eric Worre. When the rest of the world freezes up, entrepreneurs take action. And you talked about this idea of taking action. Oftentimes, fear keeps us in the way, it gets in the way of us taking action. And so there's a quote that I saw recently from the Instagram Motivated Mindset that said, don't fear failure. Fear being in the exact same place next year as you are today. And I just want to share that because it really piggybacks on something that you said, and you are encouraging us to take action. And I think that's a good fit.
Okay. Tavis, you raised your hand. Did you want to come off mute and ask a question?
I did. How can someone that is just starting, how can they sell or market to people in this current climate or in this current situation that we're in, especially if you don't have or use social media?
So that's a tactical question, really, Tavis. And being that you're on my team, we can definitely do like an hour session with you. But the way that you communicate with people normally, that's what you do. Even with social media, what we do with social media is we take our personalities and how we communicate with people and we throw it online. So however you usually communicate with people, that's how you share. And again, we're sharing and we're seeing exponential growth in this time, 1,000% growth, because we have the tools for everyone to be safe. So now is the best time to do that. But yeah, we can definitely sit down with you with an hour and give you tactical details of actually how to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
So just real quick, I'll just add a little bit to that, because for me, when I first started, I didn't start on social media at all. Actually, the first amounts of people that I spoke with and started growing with were people that I worked with. They were my friends, they were my family, they were people that I would see every single day. So honestly, getting started, I think that's the best place for you to get started anyways, because to me, it also allowed me reps of not being very good. And when it's your friends and family, they're a lot more forgiving. and so that's a great place to start.
Carrie, you had a really good question that you posed early on, and I know you got a couple answers to it, but did you want to ask that for the benefit of the group that maybe is not looking at the chat? And then I actually want to be the first one to answer it.
I know your answer. Because what Sheila said and what Lydia said and even Todd.
No, you're not going to know my full answer because I have actual data.
They all touched on it. It's just is the business model. You don't have to convince me that Young Living is a great company. I've known it for over 20 years and love the product. I'm never going to give it up. My hang up is people who think, oh, MLM or pyramid scheme or the big guys, of course they're so rich and they take their corporate vacations and their oils are so expensive because they're not advertising. You're doing all the work for them. And stuff like that I hear mostly inside my head, inside my house from my husband, but there are others too. So it's like, that's my block is how do I explain it to them?
So number one, the big guy making all the money at the top, that's the corporate world. That literally is the corporate world. So I work for an automotive company. I had no choice, but I was furloughed while my president and my VP and my director and my boss, all those people they got to work and I was furloughed and I got less pay. And my president makes way more than me. And each of those people above me all make more than I do. They're the individuals that get the efforts out of my work. In contrast with Young Living, the way that it is structured, you can make more money than the people above you. I sat down with a person that works at my facility. We were doing an automotive meeting. And as soon as she came off of the elevator, she's like, "You use Young Living?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." So then she told me that she uses Young Living and that she has someone on her team who decided to be full-time and has kicked it in the business. And so she told me the person's name and I was like, I think I remember her. She's like, I don't know what rank I am at, but you know, because she does something, I get a little percentage. So you're right, you get a little percentage. Well, the person that she told me who it was is a diamond. They make diamond income. They make that income that is possibly 5 figures per month. And she does get a little percentage, but because she's never done anything else, she gets $2,000. That's what she gets. But the person below her, who she's getting a little percentage off of, makes 5 figures per month. So this is the best way to make sure the big guy doesn't get all the money. This is the best way to make sure you actually get paid on your efforts because of the way that it's structured and because you have to create more than one team to actually get to those higher levels. I've literally seen it with my own eyes. Yes, she gets a little percentage of the people underneath her because she has not decided to actually build different teams, the people underneath her make way more.
Can I add to that too? That's brilliant, by the way. There's a couple of things. One is I would say what also happens is not only do they make more money, but clearly who brings you in at a certain level, you can go above them. That's standard. So looking at, and it was responsible for global recognition, you saw that all the time. And there'll be 5 people who are higher than the person who, and they're on a team of people. And that can be it could be a gold and a Roy Vaughan diamond. That's one. The other thing is that different than a corporation, I completely agree with you, Tashina, but different than a corporation, frankly, it's based on your ethics and what you do. And it's less on politics. It's less on necessarily, someone doing a favor for you. And it's about your efforts. And so for that reason, you see that the direct sales model is very empowering for minorities, for especially women. And so you see so many women who are building these freaking amazing businesses because there's no one saying there's a glass ceiling. Whatever you do, that's what you're actually rewarded from. And so that is a difference also that I would say it's a way, Carrie, that you can actually kind of address that. But the Sheena hit it right on the head.
I want to add to that as well. Because Carrie, if I heard you correctly, I feel like you said what you thought they were thinking, right? And not what.
Well, I've actually heard him say it, but it echoes in the head.
Okay. Do they know that you use oils? They know you're all over them with your oils and your experience?
Yeah, it's my husband. He uses the oils too. He just morally as opposed to the business model.
Is he really? I would honestly just say, I think energy is real and you can transfer energy. And if you're freaking excited about your oils, the only thing that you need to work on is consistency and just making sure that everybody else knows that you freaking love your oils. That's really all you can do, right? But all of the other rebuttals, I've actually been really, really surprised. All of my anti-MLM friends, it's taken a while. That's the caveat. And that's, I think, why consistency is so important. But all of my anti-MLM friends are just now coming around and getting their kids and thanking me for it and not asking any questions at all about the MLM part. They're just all right, you love those oils, pass those over. Or I've just said, you really should try some lavender and cedarwood. Maybe I'll throw something out there like that. They know for sure. I'm I get it. You hate MLMs. I'm here though for you because I love my oils and I'm just trying to get them a kit. I'm not really at that point trying to sell them on the business, trying to coach them on building a business. I want to get a kit in their hands, get them using the oils every day and get them reordering. At that point, they might get interested in, oh, I can get some of these paid for. So for me, I just, I think that it's a little bit of just take a baby step. And that baby step is just introducing them to the oils first. The next baby step would be they're reordering. You're keeping in touch with them. You're recommending them some additional things, listening to their issues. The step above that would be, you want to get some of these paid for, you get them for free. And then after that, so I would go up, but there's certainly people, I go straight in with business. And so it just depends. It's about understanding your audience.
Can I address the husband issue?
Please do.
Absolutely.
So there are many, many women in Young Living whose husbands were convinced once they started seeing their paychecks. And so just to harp on what Lydia said, as long as he's not, he's using the oils and he is not objecting to you doing the business, you just kind of do your thing, right? And then that's what happened with me and my husband. He was never against multi-level marketing, but he definitely wasn't convinced that Young Living was worthwhile until he started seeing the paychecks that started to accumulate. So if you can work your business and not let that bog you down, because people will think what they will think. But again, as Lydia said, you are going to be the proof in the pudding, right? That's going to be you. Set your sights to where you want to go and where you want to be, and let people be true to who they are, which is non-believers. We don't have to convince them by our words, but we definitely are showing something as we are consistent. You treat it like a business, and then you start receiving those results like a business and go, well, what are you doing? So there's that, including your husband. He'll come around.
Thank you, Sheila. Tavis,
I
did you
thank
have another
all of you
question?
for jumping in. Thank you all for your input.
I did. Can I go now?
Yes.
Okay. And actually, I came in just as she was speaking. I think it was Sheila. She was saying that you can start the business for, I think she said $500 to $1,000. But I was reading in the chat where it said that you can launch for as little as $35 with a premium starting point at $165. So is that something, is that a question for later, or can it be answered now?
No, that can be answered now. So that's how you get a kit and a membership and the ability to share. However, we mentioned in one of our other calls that you do need some education. So I would recommend any person that started like today to automatically get their convention ticket to jumpstart, if you really want to do the business, to jumpstart their business. And we always recommend that you start with a premium starter kit, because that is the full everything that you really need from top to bottom that you have. So if you have a true financial situation where you only can afford $35, I would say $35 and the $75 kit. But if you have the ability to invest and you really want to grow fast, you should get the premium starter kit and your convention ticket as a minimum right now to start your business today.
Yeah. And the convention ticket is only $75. So let me clarify, when I mentioned that $500 to $1,000, I was just talking about network marketing businesses in general. That's about how much they might cost to get in, but Young Living is not at that $500. So I was speaking to, when you came in later, I was speaking to the network marketing industry and the low startup costs for that industry, for the industry in general. But we fall below that $500 for us in Young Living to get started with, let's say, a starter kit, which is $165. Get your convention ticket is another $75. So you're at $200 and something bucks, and then that's it to start.
Okay, I know I missed something. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Were there any other questions?
I have a comment just to congratulate everyone who came on today, whether you need to get started and you're looking to get started in something, you know that you need a change. And so thank you for coming on today, allowing us to speak to you. And then if you're just getting started, or if you're looking to scale your business, thank you for coming on, hearing our stories. And because this is what it's all about. It's all about sharing. It's about reaching out to people. It's about helping people and letting you know that we are all here for each and every one of you. And applaud yourself, pat yourself on the back for making this step forward to just move forward and not be stuck in the stuff that's going on. We can make a difference in this world, especially with what's going on right now. So congratulate yourself. We applaud you and we thank you, and so grateful that you all came on.
Michelle, you had one last thing?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention when you were talking about starting the business and then you said to start, I want to clarify that too. I am a silver leader here in Michigan, and I've had people call me and ask me, what does Young Living charge you in order to keep your discount, in order to make all the bonuses, in order to do this, that, and the other thing? So when they're saying things like money to start, am I muted? Can you hear me?
We can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. Okay. They're not saying that later on down the line it's going to cost you $500 a month per se to keep your 24% discount. Okay. So if you're new here and you're coming from another MLM, you are not going to have to like buy thousands of dollars worth of product personally yourself every month in order to get all the commissions. Okay. So if you are interested in that, there is a very clear and concise commission paperwork. There's PDFs that they can send you and you can look at. And no matter if you're making 4 figures to 7 figures a month, there's certain requirements that go across the board. So I just want to be clear with that, because there are MLMs that will charge you. They'll charge you. You will have to have sales, personal sales, and all that kind of mumbo jumbo. To me, it's a lot of confusion, but Young Living is not confusing. So enjoy, and thanks for having me.
Alrighty, guys, with that, we will close this out. The replay will be sent to all of the hosts, as well as it will be dropped in the event. And once again, we greatly appreciate and thank you for joining us. Have an amazing evening and weekend. Goodbye.
Be
Thank
safe.
you.
Bye.
Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.